Okay, so I was tagged to do this video by David Novak from David Novak Reads Poetry. I recommend you check out his channel. This is my first time, I guess, ever being formally tagged in a tag video. So the tag is the rapid fire questions tag. So I guess I have, 25 questions that I have to answer today. And ideally, I guess my understanding is you do this as fast as you possibly can. So I'm not going to provide any explanatory notes as much as I can help it, I guess. And I have my laptop in front of me, as always. So we're going to begin with the first question. Ebook or physical book? I guess, honestly, both are fine. I do have a preference for audiobooks, and I know that's a little bit scandalous. 2, paperback or hardback. Paperback, I think, is just easier to read. 3, online or in-store book shopping. I like the vibe of an in-store shop, but I also, generally speaking, the vast majority of my books have been acquired through online shopping. Question 4, trilogies or series. I'm not really partial to either. I guess I do have a preference, I guess, for standalones, but that's not an option. So I guess from the two options, some of my favorite fantasy books are series, and so I'll say that. 5, heroes or villains. Villains, I think they intrigue me more. Question 6, a book you want everyone to read. I think that my standard answer would be Moby Dick, but I think that people have come to hopefully know that that's one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm going to give a bit of a different answer. I would say Robert Burton's Anatomy of Melancholy is exceptional, and everyone should read that in their life. Recommend an underrated book, Robert Burton's Anatomy of Melancholy. 8, the last book you finished. I think it was Into the Wild by John Crockett. I think that's his last name. But anyway, it's about Chris McCandless and his adventures that ultimately led him to Alaska, where he died. It was a decent book. It was quite good. The last book you bought, I think it was Who Killed Canadian History by J.L. Granatstein. Question 10, the weirdest thing you've used as a bookmark. My own hair. I plucked out a strand and I put that in the book because I didn't have anything. And it worked well, honestly. Question 11, used books, yes or no? Of course, yes. Question 12, top 3 favorite genres. I really like survival, like nonfiction. I like poetry quite a bit, and then classics. And I know that classics is a very large umbrella, but I think it kind of condenses everything that I'm interested in reading. Borrow or buy? Buy, definitely. Character or plot? Both. Yeah, I really couldn't pick one or the other. If the book has literally nothing going for it, it would piss me off. Stoner by John Williams is a wonderful book, I think, that has enough of both. But yeah, both, definitely. I can't pick either or. 15, long or short books. I mean, it depends. I like a nice, thick fantasy novel. I don't want a 150-page fantasy novel. You'd lose me at that, to be honest. That being said, some of my favorite classic literature is not that long. So, I guess the answer is it depends. Long or short chapters? I do like a short chapter. I think one of the things that I love about Moby Dick is that the chapters are relatively short, some of them. You get a little bit of a dopamine hit, if you will, reading the shorter chapters. So for that question, I would say short chapters. And also, sorry, I know I mentioned that this would be very rapid fire and I would refrain from giving explanatory notes, but I've clearly not been doing that. Anyway, question 17. Name the first 3 books you can think of. Coriolanus by William Shakespeare, because I'm probably going to be doing a video on that. Terry Fox, his story by, I forgot her name, but I'm probably going to be reading it in anticipation of the Terry Fox run that's happening very soon. If you don't know, I guess Terry Fox is a national Canadian hero. I think he was diagnosed with cancer when he was 18, and so he decided that instead of just, sitting around, he decided that he was going to then start a marathon of what is termed the Marathon of Hope to kind of raise money for cancer. And so he began his marathon from St. John's, Newfoundland, I believe. And then his goal was to, of course, run across Canada. He didn't make it. He ended up dying in Thunder Bay, Ontario, I believe. And to kind of keep Terry's memory alive, every year, pretty much all schools in Canada participate in the Terry Fox Run, where people come in and give their donations to help fight cancer. And was absolutely insane. Ran in every single condition possible. And I think he ran the equivalent of a marathon per day, or maybe more than that. But it was insane. And he did that for many, 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 many days. And the third and final book is probably Nostromo by Joseph Conrad. I'm reading that. It's been a long journey reading it. It's not that we don't get along, but Joseph Conrad is one of those writers where if you look away for 2 seconds, all of a sudden the Republic has fallen, the main character has died, and his wife has been killed, and you're just like, what the hell just happened? I literally looked away for 2 seconds. He demands a lot from the reader, but anyway, I'm trying to get through Nostromo, and it's honestly, it is his best work, in my opinion. It's fantastic. It's very, very well done. And, you know, it's my own inadequacies, to be clear. It's not Joseph Conrad. Anyway, yeah, so those are the 3 books, I guess from the top, Coriolanus, Terry Fox, his story, and then finally, A Nostromo by Joseph Conrad. Question 18, books that make you laugh or cry. I think cry. I guess the question here is, like, what do you prefer? Books that make you laugh or cry? I think probably books that make me cry. I don't know. I don't really laugh a whole lot reading. I think that there's a greater... You have to do more to make me cry. And so, well, not that much more, but I mean, you have to do a little bit more. There have to be stakes involved. And so I think that the book ends up being a little bit more meaningful for me if I cry reading it. All right, question 19. Our world or fictional worlds? I think our world is quite beautiful, but I would really like to experience... Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings. I think that would be fascinating. Or even, you know, I don't know, it sounds cliche, don't click off the video, but probably the Stormlight Archives universe. That would be pretty fascinating. Audiobooks, yes or no? That's question 20. Definitely yes. I love audiobooks, and I know that there's a whole debate around if audiobooks are reading or not. Technically, it's not reading. That being said, at the end of the day, you know, I've read Moby Dick, you've read Moby Dick. Do we know that the Pequot sings at the end? Yes, we do. And so we can talk about it. So, yeah, I mean, that's all that's relevant to me. Did we understand the content? Did you get the content? Can we have discourse? I'm not interested in the technicalities or did you actually read? It does not concern me. Question 21. Do you ever judge a book by its cover? Of course I do. But I think that the vast majority of books, I kind of know what I want to read. And so... typically, I mean, I think the publishing world has gotten much better with its covers, but it's very rare that I find a really horrific book that really stops me from reading something. But yeah, I mean, I am compelled by a good cover. Question 22, book to movie or book to TV adaptations. I think TV a little bit more. I like that you have a greater opportunity to flesh the world out, a lot more detail that can be captured in a TV adaptation, and as a result, I think I would have that preference. That being said, I don't really watch much movie or TV. The next question 23, is a movie or TV adaptation you preferred more than the book? Keeping with the theme of Joseph Conrad, I did enjoy Lord Jim. But I don't know what movie it is. If you search it, you'll know. It's a very famous movie. And that film of Lord Jim was phenomenal. It's so well done that by the time I got to the end of it, I was like, oh my God, this might be better than the book. It might be better than the book. It's very rare I say that, but it was fantastic. I highly encourage that you watch that. And this is coming from a person who doesn't engage or watch much TV. Series or standalones? Standalones. I do have a preference for standalones. That was question 24. Question 25 is tag someone. I'm not sure who else has been tagged. I would tag A Cruel Reader's Thesis and Joshua Crebo Reads. I believe that's the handle. And in case they want to do that. But yeah, those are my answers to the question. And thank you so much again, David, for tagging me. And I think that's it. Thank you so much for watching.